After so many weeks, right, since the very beginning of this transfer window, we have been hearing so many names on who is going to be our right back reinforcement. We have talked about Benjamin Pavard, which was Xavi's first option. We have also talked about Arnau Martinez and how he's a great defensive reinforcement and offensive reinforcement. He knows how to attack and also knows how to defend. But we couldn't sign the player and there was not enough consensus within the club. And then we moved on towards Juan Foyth. We talked about Vanderson. We also continued to talk about Ivan Fresneda. There has been so many right backs that has been discussed within the club, but yet Barcelona could not move forward with any of these options. But there has been one player, my friends, that continued to be talked about in the club and generated a lot of consensus, and especially from Xavi Hernandez, and that is João Cancelo. João Cancelo is the one that does stand out the most because he does carry the most experience in top level football, because he has played with Man City, he has represented Bayern Munich, he has played in the Spanish league during his time at Valencia, and he's certainly not a player that we can say he's similar to Serginho Dest or Emerson or Semedo, because those three right backs were players that were very inexperienced, but we thought that we could move forward with these right backs because they had high potential, but only for them to underdeliver. With Cancelo, it's just a different story, a much different story, because again, he is experienced and he is 29 years old and he is someone who knows exactly what it's like to play in top European football, which makes it so important for us to sign Cancelo and to get him in as soon as possible. So it says here, according to Sport, that Barcelona and Manchester City have reached an agreement in principle for João Cancelo. It would be a loan with a buy option being slightly above 30 million euros. Now here's the thing, and here's going to be the biggest catch of this whole deal. This purchase option could be a mandatory purchase option if these two conditions are met. Now pay close attention to how I'm saying this. If these two conditions are met, not if one of these two conditions are met, but these two have to be met at the same time. And so it's going to be the following. Point number one, if Cancelo plays 70% of the official matches, and point number two, if Barcelona qualify for the Champions League round of 16. And again, like I have said before, if Barcelona qualify for the Champions League round of 16, but they do not play Cancelo 70% of the matches, then it's not going to be turning into a mandatory option. Or it could be the reverse. If they play João Cancelo 70% of the time, but Barcelona do not go to the round of 16 in the Champions League, then it is also not going to turn into a mandatory purchase option. Now let's say, for example, that Barcelona do not want to turn this purchase option into a mandatory one, then Barcelona is going to have to sign another right back in order to rotate Cancelo and whoever that other right back could be in order to minimize his minutes. And this is again if Barcelona really do not want to pay the 30 million euros for sure in the summer of 2024. But then again, it's also going to be really hard to try and minimize Cancelo because he can also play in the left back position, and Alejandro Balde, like I've said multiple times, is going to need a reinforcement and he is going to be needing some rest. And so Cancelo is going to be finding more opportunities to see more minutes on the left back position. So it's almost impossible to say we're going to try and minimize the minutes of Cancelo in order for the purchase option not go into a mandatory purchase option. It kind of also tells us that his signing is just so important and his role is going to be very big. But here is going to be my conclusion. If we're finding it so difficult to try and minimize the minutes of Cancelo, this is also telling us another thing, is that he's probably going to end up doing something right at the club, because if Xavi Hernandez continues to put him on the left back position, also on the right back position, that is because Cancelo is bringing results for the club. And if he's bringing results for the club, there should be no problem in paying the 30 million euros in the summer of 2024. As a matter of fact, 30 million euros or 31 million euros or whatever, right? 35 million euros is a bargain for someone like Cancelo. And especially if you have Cancelo at top level. If he does bring anywhere between 10 to 12 assists in this season and brings about 5 to 6 goals, paying 30 to 35 million euros for the player would be an amazing deal. So it has been said that most likely by next week on Monday, everything is going to be fully sealed and signed. And also by mid next week, around Wednesday or Thursday, his signing will be announced. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.